Yes, I am still making these damn videos. I don't want to film myself because I have no makeup on, and I just don't really, it just freaks me out. Probably no one's going to see this anyway. But, okay, so I made videos today about, like, the word black. Just the word black, really, and the meaning of black, and, like, people being called black based on, the way they look. And, I don't know how true this is. It seems like there's some truth to it, but apparently, oh God, well, I'm not going to say it, but the N word. Apparently the N word, used for people during slavery time and all that, in the United States. That apparently, I don't know if this is true, really, but apparently it had something to do with royalty. I have to look further into it. But I did hear that the N word, which basically means black, had to do with royalty, like being a king or a queen, which I found really, really interesting because, in my opinion, royals who are called, like, so-called sovereigns, I mean, isn't that just funny that somebody who is a slave and called the N-word, they're a slave and they are being called a term that supposedly, even though they're a slave, it's like they're being called a royal, like a king or a queen, sovereign, yet they're a slave. That's very interesting to me because you're taking someone who should be considered the lowest of the low, because this is a hierarchical issue. And I don't operate in hierarchy, so I hate this stuff. I do not like any of it because, yeah, I'm white. Okay, I'm a white person, but I don't want to be a slave. And my family has slavery. My family has been slaves. We've been other things too. Pretty much it's all the same though. But so it doesn't really matter what your skin color is because everybody's been there at some point in history. But yeah, I can get why right now that would suck being black. But the whole thing is like, I just thought that was really interesting because that you'd be a slave and you'd be called royalty, because basically if you really are royalty, I mean, most of the time, for the whole time there's been royalty, all the years, if you are royalty, you are a slave because you are not really running the show. First of all, if you're inbred, and the funny thing is that this is all just so upsetting to me, but yeah, okay, so if you're a slave, you're living with your quote-unquote master, right? You're living with these people and you're their slave. If you're a royal, it's the same exact situation. You're supposed to be at the top of society, though. You're supposed to be the ruler. You're not, because there's a good chance there's something wrong with you if you're in that situation. If you have been selected as a royal family, and you have been inbred by someone to keep your bloodline trackable, to keep your bloodline not all mixed up with a bunch of people, keep the bloodline clear so that we can easily track this bloodline. We know exactly who this is. There's no this blood's been pretty much the same for a few thousand years, right? More or less. They have to add a little bit so you don't completely die, but it's really unhealthy. But your blood is pretty damn, it hasn't changed much, and that's why people have health problems. But the people that are really running, like the advisors that are inbreeding, basically these people are, I don't want to say retarded, but they basically were retarded. And there's no way these families that were retarded, there's no way, okay? There is no way they were running the world. There is just no way. There is absolutely no way. And they were not doing anything. They were not even choosing who they had kids with. I don't even really know how they had kids. They could have been test tube babies for all I know. I'm serious, because getting retarded people to, it's disgusting. They have it with their own family members, but the family members are already all retarded, so I don't even know if they know what's going on, or they're just slow, they're really out of it. They're not doing well. And I don't even know if they can have sex. I don't really know if you can, and then to carry through a pregnancy. How do you do that? That's why I think there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with genetic, with fake pregnancies and things like that. But anyway, these people that were called the royals were not really running the show. The people hiding behind them were running the show. The advisors, the guides, were not showing who their faces were because they were hiding behind these families and using them as their cover. Because there's no way the royals were slaves to these masters, basically. It's the exact same situation. And so I found that really interesting, that slaves would be called like slaves that are like on a slave plantation that aren't seen as royalty. I thought it was really interesting that they would be called royalty, because they basically are the same. It's the same thing pretty much. And then I was reading a few months ago that African. And I do think that these slaves were from Africa, because, anyway, I'm not even going to get into that, but I'm not going to say, it would be very hard to enslave someone who was indigenous, but once they had these people, the problem is once they had these people, the slave masters did exactly what they did to the royals. They would put a bag over the black slave's head, and they would make them mate with their relatives to have, more slave babies. And now, if you just do it a few times, you're probably not going to get them very bad. I think they wanted these people to be messed up. I think because if you don't do it too many times, the person will still be functional, but they're going to be slowed down. Their intelligence will be slowed down. So don't judge me, because I don't know. I probably seem like an idiot trying to talk, and I am. I really am an idiot. But I don't know what my DNA really is, so I don't know what kind of gobbledygook I've got up in my brain trying to get words out and speak, it's not easy for me. So, I think that yeah, the masters, the people that had the black slaves were pretty much the same people that were running the royal families. It's really weird. So I thought that was really interesting. And I don't even know how much time I have left on this. I should probably turn this off. But I thought that was really interesting that there are interpretations of the N-word that also connect things to royalty. And I'm going to go further into the royalty in the next video. Hopefully it's my last one.